Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about Avantasia and the album Moonglow, out February 15 on Nuclear Blast. The album has 12 tracks and it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. Actually, the record only has 11 songs, but there is a special bonus track called Heart, tribute to Steve Perry of Journey. Overall, this is the band's 8th full-length album, and from this album you can expect a lot of guest appearances, including Jeff Tate, Ronnie Atkins, Michael Kiske, Jorn Land, just to name a few. Overall, as you perhaps expected, this is a concept album. All the songs are interconnected, and each song is a chapter. The story is really about a monster that's thrown into the world, unable to find a place to fit in, looks into darkness as that being his home. Really interesting concept, really interesting story, and it becomes really dynamic throughout the tracks. Now, in order to become even more dynamic, I really feel like the way they approached this record was to create an album that had perhaps two different worlds. First of all, they combine a lot of different genres. They combine power metal, symphonic power metal, symphonic metal. They really combine all of these different genres in order to give life to the lyrics and give life to the songs, to give direction to the storytelling. But not only that, I really felt that the album had two kinds of songs, if you will. Mixed with all these genres, I really felt that the album had two types of songs. They had the more opera, cinematic, longer songs, extended songs, if you will, really with important keyboard elements, over-the-top solos, incredible vocal performances, really cinematic in vibe and cinematic in style. And then there was some shorter songs, still great, still really impactful, great dynamic, great sound, great vocal delivery, but shorter, more to the point, almost radio friendly, with really hooky choruses, really catchy choruses. So I really felt that the overall vibe of the album is really divided into these two camps. And throughout the record, they did a really good job almost alternating those styles. So you don't get into a sequence where the album is really top heavy and you get the more cinematic songs at the beginning of the record, and then you get more of those catchy tunes towards the back end of the record. No, I really felt that they really alternated them well. They really combined them well into the record to make a more impressive listening experience. It really allowed for the listener to catch his breath after one of those extended songs by getting a more accessible song, if you will, a more radio-friendly song, almost a lighter song, to give a different mood, to give a different style to the record. So I feel like they did that on purpose, and they did it well, and it really allowed for the album to have a real dynamic life. When you have a record that's over the 1 hour mark, you really have to be creative on how you structure your songs and how you structure the overall record, so that you don't become mundane, it doesn't become overbearing. So it's really important for a record of this style, with this kind of theme, with this kind of concept, with this kind of length, to really be structured well, to make the best out of the listening experience as far as the listener is concerned. One curveball that I thought this album had was the introduction of the song Maniac, which is a cover from the 1981 movie Flashdance. So I was really surprised, taken back by having that cover song on the record. That's track number 11. I wasn't expecting. It just caught me by surprise, because it didn't really, to me, I don't feel like it really fit with the story of the record and with the overall vibe of the record. Then the more I listen to the record, the more I start picking up little key elements throughout the songs. Overall, the album really had an 80s vibe to it. I really feel like the genre of metal that they incorporated, the larger amount of DNA, of metal DNA that was incorporated to this record, really feels like it was really based in the 80s. So having one of the 80s biggest hits, having that cover onto the record, perhaps is not a far stretch. Perhaps it makes a lot more sense once you start listening to the record and you really dive in and you start finding all these finer details within all the other songs. Having the song Maniac on track 11, somehow it doesn't seem that odd anymore. It did to me at the beginning, at the first listening experience, but the more I listened to the record, the more I felt comfortable with that track and how it fit with the overall scheme. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I really want to talk about 3 songs that really impressed me. First of them is Book of Shallows. I really like that song. It has a lot of melody. It has a really contagious, heavy, and groovy guitar riff. And to me, the key element of this song, besides that heavy and groovy guitar riff, is really the hooky and catchy chorus with the line, "Chase your dream." When every time that line is repeated, they added a couple of layers to the vocals in that and really created a sense of a choir almost. It really gave strength to the chorus. It really gave a different dimension to the chorus. It made the chorus even more catchy and hooky. And the chorus of this song is really the pinnacle of the song. The subtle keyboard melody on this track is really important as well, because it's not really in the forefront, it's more in the background, but it really adds an 80s vibe to the song. It gives the song this different feel, this different look, and it really works well. It gives some different texture to the song, and it really works well. To me, this is a song that's definitely divided into two halves: a more melodic first half, and then a more heavier, if you will, a more aggressive second half. The song has these two different momentums without a doubt, but it's glued by this super hooky and catchy chorus that just really combines the song really well and never lets the song completely fall apart between these two separate parts. Another song that really impressed me was Starlight, a more symphonic power metal song, but a song that I really enjoyed. It was so upbeat. It had an upbeat vibe to it, a song that includes a powerful, really powerful guitar melody that I really enjoyed, and another underlying keyboard melody that really adds something, specifically when you mix in the vocal performance, culminates into an epic chorus, and when you put all of these key elements together, you really have a song that really carries a punch. It's really dynamic in nature, it's really uplifting. It really catches your attention because of all the melodic components, but also because of how the chorus is worked into the song. So when you put all of these things together, you really have a cool song. The added layers of vocals within the chorus add a different feel to the song as well. It gives a more cinematic vibe. It gives a larger than life vibe to this chorus, and to a song that really needed it because it really had that in its DNA from the beginning to the end. Last but not least, Alchemy, a heavy, powerful riff that starts off that song, and every time this riff comes in, it really punches a hole through the speakers. You really feel like a kick every time this guitar riff comes into the song. I really like it. The dynamic of this song between the guitars and the vocals really play an important role, and it really create a different dynamic throughout the song. Every time the vocals go up in volume, the heaviness of the guitar picks up as well. Every time the vocals get a little bit more subdued, more melodic, the guitar volume drops down as well. So the two are absolutely interconnected from the beginning to the end of the song, and it really gives the song a different life, almost a heartbeat, if you will. This song has my favorite guitar solo in the whole album. I just love it. It's very over the top, very old school, almost reminiscent of bands from the late 80s to early 90s, bands like Judas Priest. It has that old school, over the top, beautiful, melodic, heavy at the same time guitar solo that just gives a different dimension to the song. When you mix that with that heartbeat feel that the guitar riff and the vocals have, it really creates a song that has a lot of life in it, and it really breathes life to the listener when you sit down to listen to this record. Anyways, guys, this is it. This is Avantasia Moonglow, out February 15 on Nuclear Blast. A very dynamic record, a very different record with a lot of different components, a lot of moving parts. To me, it has a really heavy 80s undertone to it that I really enjoyed because it really gave almost an old movie score, cinematic vibe to the overall feel of the record. A really enjoyable listening experience. I had fun listening to this record, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of Avantasia? What do you think of this album? How it rates compared to other albums? What are your favorite songs? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.